A man comes home, takes off his smart glasses, and sets them on the bedside table before leaving the room. The glasses are still on. And while his wife walks in to change clothes, she has no idea that the camera is active. She doesn't know the footage is going to a queue in Nairobi, or that a person on the other side of the world is watching her, labeling the clip and moving on to the next one. The product was designed for privacy, controlled by you. She was not the you. I'm going to show you how a 50-cent sticker defeated Meta's only hardware privacy feature, and why the company fired 1,000 people on the same day they filed for the next generation of hardware. This isn't a mistake, it's the business model. I spent the last week digging through the court filings and the investigative reports out of Nairobi to figure out exactly how this happened. Everything I found is sourced and linked in the description below. September 2025, Menlo Park. Mark Zuckerberg walks out wearing a pair of glasses that look from 20 feet away like Ray-Bans. Because they are Ray-Bans. That's the deal Meta made with EssilorLuxottica, the fashion credibility play. It's the thing that makes you feel like you're buying style instead of surveillance infrastructure. The pitch is AI, hands-free, answering questions about the world around you. The privacy pitch, specifically, is a direct quote from the product page, built with privacy at their core. By the end of 2025, analyst estimates from IDC suggest Meta had sold nearly 7 million units on that promise. And in Nairobi, Kenya, more than 1,000 people were watching the footage those 7 million units produced. If you want to help us keep the spotlight on where that data goes, consider hitting those buttons. It helps. Let's look at what the workers actually saw. In February 2026, the Swedish newspapers Svenska Bladet and Göteborgs-Posten published a joint investigation with journalist Naipanoi Lapapa. They talked to more than 30 employees of a data annotation company called Sama. These workers were paid to watch footage from Ray-Ban Meta glasses and train the AI to understand what it was looking at. They weren't just looking at traffic or trees. We see everything, from living rooms to naked bodies. Someone is wearing them while having sex. They saw people using the toilet. They saw bank cards on tables and PIN entries at point-of-sale terminals. They saw the wife who walked into that bedroom and never looked at the glasses because she didn't know they were on. The customers paid $800 for a privacy tool. The people in the footage, they never agreed to anything. The glasses were just there, on a table, still on. When the story broke, Meta's response was a masterpiece of corporate shielding, as stated in our privacy policy. The policy says that review may be manual. That's it. That's the consent. Meta's position is that those 5 words allow strangers in Nairobi to watch your partner undress. The only actual safeguard was a small LED on the frame. When the camera is recording, the light blinks. Meta actually enlarged it after regulators in Ireland and Italy raised privacy concerns. But by the time the investigation was published, you could buy third-party privacy stickers on Amazon designed specifically to cover and disable that LED for as little as $5. Meta's only hardware privacy feature was being defeated by a $5 adhesive. After the scandal, Meta paused the contract, but for weeks the Nairobi workers were still required to log in and refresh their screens every 8 minutes to prove they were working. Their queues were empty, nothing, no footage, nothing to label. They were refreshing nothing. It was a digital cage designed to keep 1,000 people in their seats, ensuring they were too exhausted to organize or speak out until the PR fire had burned itself out. In the 2022 petition in Nairobi, Daniel Mataung alleges human trafficking and forced labor. He reviews videos of beheadings, child abuse, and suicide. He was paid approximately $2.20 an hour. He was eventually diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. He described his life as a horror movie. Mataung sued Meta and Sama. He was one of 185 former moderators who filed similar cases. Sama markets itself as ethical AI and impact sourcing. They win awards for providing digital work to low-income communities. But the workers watching the Ray-Ban Meta footage, the ones reviewing the bedside table video, the bank card, the bathroom, they were often the same people who'd reviewed beheadings and child abuse, now sitting at the same desks reviewing bedrooms and bank cards. The content had changed. The structure had not. One annotator put it plainly: you are not supposed to question it. If you start asking questions, you're gone. The investigation published February 27, 2026. By March, the UK Information Commissioner's Office was calling the claims concerning. Two plaintiffs filed a class action in California, accusing Meta of making privacy the centerpiece of its marketing while concealing the reality. Kenya's Data Protection Commissioner launched a formal investigation of their own. On April 16, 2026, SAMA issued formal redundancy notices to 1,100 of its Nairobi employees. The notice period was 6 days. As reported by the BBC and Ars Technica, Meta's explanation was 4 words: "They don't meet our standards." Naftali Wambalo from the Africa Tech Workers Movement had a different take. "What I think are the standards they are talking about here are standards of secrecy." On the same day those 1,100 people were getting their 6-day notice, Meta filed documents with the FCC for 2 new Ray-Ban Meta models, codenames Scriber and Blazer. 1,100 out, next-generation hardware in. Meta's annual revenue is so high that any fine regulators might levy isn't a penalty, it's an accounting line item. Meta has not named a replacement contractor, nor have they addressed the LED sticker market or the consent language in the policy. Mark Zuckerberg is still publicly photographed wearing the glasses. The Oversight Lab, a digital rights group in Kenya, says this outsourcing model is harming our youth and in no way advancing Kenya's participation in the AI ecosystem. Meanwhile, according to internal roadmaps leaked to The Verge, Meta is planning for 10 million units, ahead of schedule. Mercy Muti, the human rights lawyer who leads the Oversight Lab, put it plainly to the BBC: "This is a very flimsy foundation to build your entire industry on." The workers who reviewed that footage already found out what that means. They got 6 days. Stay toasty.